everyone. Hi, Butterfly Kisses.
Hello, Butterfly Kisses.
This is Jeanette. She is my daughter. And we thought Sophie and I could kind of interview her on some of the things that she's had happen to her, you know. And so I thought it would be interesting because she has encountered different things in her life. So take it away, Jeanette.
So, where to start?
Okay, well,
How long have you lived in that house?
we've been here for, let's see, 4 years, I think.
Did things begin happening right then and there when you first moved in, or hi Watcher,
No,
hi Teresa?
Hi,
no,
Teresa.
No. When did
no.
things
So,
begin?
when we moved in kind of on top of my husband's grandparents. So we were moving in as they were trying to move out. So things were really busy in between there, and I really couldn't tell you if things were actually happening in that time because, I would hear noises and I would always assume that it was his grandparents. So I would say probably about 3 years ago, I started seeing faces in the hallway in the shadows. And I don't have like the best vision at the time. I hadn't had LASIK yet. So I just assumed that I was, off my rocker. So fast forward to probably about 2 years ago, we started having like some heavy traffic, if you will, in our kitchen area. We'll see reflections in the windows and in the dishwasher where it looks like somebody's about to walk, into the living room, but then nobody actually does. And then I look and I'm like, oh, there wasn't anybody in the kitchen. We've had a stool, a bar stool almost fell over on my 1-year-old. We've had a spatula pick itself up in a bowl and mix and then fall back down. And that's just part of the things that I can recollect at the moment.
Yeah, too bad you couldn't get it.
I think most activity.
I'm tired. Take over. I'm tired. Take over.
Right.
We're gonna say hi to a few people, and then we'll come back. We have Teresa Levine, Maureen, Butterfly Kisses, Janet P. Who else do we have? I saw someone else. Teresa.
Hey, Watcher.
And that's about it. Hello, everyone. Welcome on board.
Yay!
So, okay.
In case you didn't hear, this is my daughter, Jeanette. Or Day.
Yes. And she's telling us basic
well, you gave me the name.
And do you know if your husband's grandparents had this problem prior to you guys moving in?
No. As far as since we moved in, they are completely flabbergasted at why we would even have this problem. But something that we have come to realize is the person I was seeing in the hallway looks just like a picture of his great grandfather that I did end up seeing, later on. And he absolutely loved this place. In fact, his ashes are actually buried on our property, overlooking our pond. So there is some significance here to that. And also the most activity we started seeing in our kitchen was after his great grandma passed away recently.
Okay. So the great grandmother would be her husband, Dad. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Ron. Yeah. Okay. So what
kind of feeling do you get, though? I mean, it's not like fear, or I would have heard a whole lot more about this. So what kind of feelings do you have? Because, you know, we went through the protections and everything on your place. So nothing that means you harm can get through. But on the other hand, how do you live with something that doesn't mean you harm?
And scare the bejeez out of you.
It's kind of unsettling. It catches me off guard occasionally. Sometimes I look up and, you know, I'll see a shadow going across the window or whatever, and I'm like, okay. And then I go back to watching TV or editing photos or whatever I'm doing at the time. And I'm like, all right, well, that was there. Okay. And I just kind of get past it. But I've never felt any, you know, evil intention or unsettled in any way. The only time I was upset was whenever the stool almost fell over on my daughter. And that had me casting everything I could to get on. I was like spreading salt all over the house, saging everything. It was humorous. My kids were scared of me.
Oh my God.
Well, now, so I thought, like Sophie and I could read on what is in your house, kind of thing. But I also thought that, did you find your tarot cards I gave you?
I did. I'll have to have Bryson run to my room and get them. Where are they?
Because it would be a good thing I could show you right here in front of everybody how your ability to lay out the cards, to pick the cards. Everybody has the ability to pick the cards. They might be on top of your mic.
So does anyone else have questions for I'm sorry, Day.
Does anybody have questions about Ask Danette or Day? Any questions about the entity or the beings in her house that have moved things?
Do you feel it's more than one entity, Danette?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And something I didn't mention, my husband had a dog, a German Shepherd. The thing hated me, but I think he kind of hated everyone. He would like lean into you for hugs and rubs, and you would pet him and he would growl at you. He was something. But he had cancer, and I took care of him the last few months of his life. And once he passed away, now my husband had this machine. It was a fleur. You could see the heat, you know, in places. I stepped on the floor while I was walking to the kitchen one day from the living room, and the floor was warm, and it was warm in like this certain spot, and it was actually the spot where he would always lay in the living room. So Nathan went and got that machine and turned it on and looked, and it was literally in the shape of a dog on the floor right there. That was the first time we were. It was very, very, it was very neat. And my son actually.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Deanne Shield Maiden, we are talking with Danette, she's my daughter, about the different ghost entities, whatever you want to say, that are moving stuff around her house. So that'll catch you up. Now, okay, back to Day.
Okay, so you could see the heat coming, where there had been some kind of activities there, like you could feel that there was someone there, and it was in the shape of the dog.
Wow.
Okay.
Could you see like your own footprints with that thing, or is it just something had to stay there a long time?
You could see them, but they were in a different. Yeah, they're in a different color. So whatever is radiating the most heat, you know, it glows like red, and then it's like yellow, green, blue, you know, for it's infrared. Um, but Bryson, my son, had actually, he went outside one day to feed the chickens, and he came inside and he had tears welled up in his eyes. And he's not like an emotional kid. He's pretty solid as far as emotional stability and, you know, knowing what's real and what's not. But he came in and he was panicked and he said, Mom, I saw Bear in the driveway. And I said, honey, Bear is not in the driveway. He said, I saw him. And his voice was cracking and he was really upset. So I went outside to see. I was like, there's some other German Shepherd that's wandered up, or there's a dog that he's just, you know, there was nothing out there, like nothing. He legitimately believes that he saw Bear walking like right by our carport. And I was at the back door, so there wouldn't have been time for the dog to like run off and me not see it, because we have 5 acres. I can see, you know, everything. So,
Right.
but there just wasn't anything there.
Wow. Wow. What else? I feel there is a lot more going on.
Do you have a few days?
Yes, I do.
Well, something about all of this is, you know, my husband has had a lot of odd things happen to him in his life, and I have as well. As far as I go personally, I can drain a car battery in a couple of weeks. I've incidentally killed 2 car batteries. No, there's 3 car batteries. Hundreds of light bulbs, our steam mop, our PS4. Like there are certain things that I can touch them and they will just automatically die.
Yeah, and see, I think now follow me here, Sophie. When I was a nurse, I couldn't wear a watch that had a battery because I would drain it. And replace and replace and replace, and eventually it would run backwards. So I would have to throw it away and get another watch. And I never for 59 pounds. I never took it to the extreme Danette has with car batteries and everything else, but I had my relationship with my father was very, I loved him, but he was an alcoholic and an abuser. So but when he was sober, he was not. He would stand in front of a bear for me, you know, but when he was drunk, he was another person. And, I got over that fairly easily, fairly quickly. But Danette has gone through a traumatic experience with a narcissist, with verbal abuse that turned into physical abuse. And I think her emotions amplified that ability of you know, I would drain batteries all the time. Watch batteries never. I had to have a watch for work, and so I always carried an extra watch in my purse so that I would have one to put on my body, because I could carry it in my purse and it not be affected. I put it on my body and it may or may not work the whole shift. So
was that happening when it got worse? Was that when you were pregnant with Danette?
Oh, I didn't. No.
No.
I've had it. I've always been this way with batteries from my childhood, but during my childhood was very chaotic. And Danette, but after I got 18, I got away from that and healed. Danette, how long have you been divorced, Danette? Has it been 8 years?
Let's see. We got divorced in 2014 because I met Nathan in 2015. So 2014, 6, 7 years, 8. No, it'd be 8 years this year.
So, okay. And so she's lived in that as an adult, and it wasn't intermittent. My daddy was the best daddy in the world as long as he was sober.
Right.
But Danette lived with that trauma daily. And I mean, I prayed and I did everything in the world. And she finally, she finally came around. But anyway.
My mom went to jail.
Yeah, your mom almost went to jail. It's, but
Mama dear.
She stopped before she had to, because that was what I mean. It was if I did anything to him, I would just do it and then go to the jail cell and sit and wait for him, because that was how desperate I was feeling. I would just say, cuff me. I did it. It was me. And, but luckily I refrained, and it was hard, but, the trauma that she went through was daily, and it makes me wonder if it's some sort of electromagnetic response to our field, or something like that, because I will kill like watch batteries, and she will kill like any appliance batteries, cars. It doesn't matter. Tractors.
Yeah. I have a feeling that's in your blood for some reason.
Yeah.
I have no idea if you're the nurse. I know nothing about biology. Last time I went to school, there were 5 continents.
About having in the medical field, they talk about what's going on inside the human body, and we know there is an electromagnetic field around it. That's a fact. But there's not been any studies, or not any kind of accredited studies that have done anything with how our energy affects the world. But there's starting to be more. And so, and I think that there should be more about our energetic interactions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and I tried to look it up. I mean, the only thing I can figure out is, the people who deal with street light interference, because, that happens as well to me. But most of these incidents will happen whenever I'm stressed, and I have 5 kids, so that's fairly often. But I've noticed, I mean, it correlates. If I'm not centered, if I'm not completely, in line and where I need to be, it happens. It's like it lashes out, and it will, break anything I'm near. My husband really enjoys it because he's the one who gets to fix it. But I mean, and I also have it bothered me for a while, but I worked in the medical field as well, and there have been several people who, had been hanging on for a long time, and I would go and hold their hand and sit with them for a while, and they would pass, and it would scare me because I was like, oh God, I'm an angel of death. But
no, you were an angel of life to them.
Yeah, but I felt, I could feel that they were at peace in those moments, and that made me feel good. But I feel like it goes to show that there's so much energetically that we could tap into, and really, learn about ourselves, about the world, about everything. But there's just no guidance there.
Let's see what your daddy says.
Santa's workshop, love your halo day.
Yeah, Santa's workshop.
So is Danette a nickname given to you by your mother, and your name is Day?
No.
Day is my nickname given to me by my husband. And
Oh,
Jeanette is
okay.
my birth name. Yes.
Okay. I was wondering. Sade, Dinette. Okay. Okay. I'm wondering, one question that I have is this something that I'm wondering if one of you has attracted this person or one of the entities.
Since this was Nathan's grandparents' house, and since I do believe his grandpa Phil is here, I think his grandma Jody moved into. This is just about the family house, I guess.
Okay. And it started happening when she passed away?
Yeah.
It started happening before that. And there was actually something that happened in between that I forgot to tell you, but Bryson is right here, whispering in my ear to tell me to remember to do it. So
Hi, Bryson.
there was one night.
Yeah.
There was one night. My husband fell asleep on the couch, and so did Bryson. They were both watching something on the TV, and I was on the computer doing some photo editing, and I look up at the door because I had tingles on my arm, and all of a sudden it goes bam, 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 like somebody knocking as hard as they can on my door. And Bryson's head shoots up and he says, "What was that?" And I said, "Someone just knocked on the door." And he looked at the door and he looked at me and he said, "What do you do?" And I said, "I don't know," because this was 1 a.m. This was 1 o'clock in the morning. We live in the middle of
nowhere,
not the city. Yeah. And, no one, like, we have a gate at our driveway. Nobody could come up to it unless they jump the gate. So I'm not okay opening the door. And so I walk up to it, and Nathan wakes up and he looks at me and he's like, "What?" And I said, "Did you hear that?" And he said, "Hear what?" And I said, "You didn't hear that." And he said, "No, Day, you just woke me up." And I said, "No, I didn't." And so I said, "Somebody just knocked on the door." And he said, "Well, open it." And I said, "I don't want to open it." But I opened the door. There's nothing there. This 10, 15-minute, conversation between, not 15-minute, 15-second, interaction between me, Bryson, and Nathan. I open the door and turn on the light. There's nothing there. And Harley, our dog, her bed is right beside our front door. And she was laying there, and me opening the door actually woke her up. And it was at that time that we had the entity that I was talking to you about that we threw out. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
That is when all the negative stuff started happening and things that I was not comfortable with. And, I've actually repressed most of those. Yeah.
Yeah, it was after that we put the protections on your house and everything.
Yeah.
Are you close to a highway?
No.
Not a mile away from a highway. I think we're 5/8 of a mile from the highway.
But is there a lot of traffic passing, or are there a lot of accidents in the area from time to time?
Not generally, not on the part of highway where we live. This highway in particular, yes, but it's way further down the road where there's generally lots of issues. I think it's probably about 10, 15 miles south from here.
Oh, I was thinking about the 4-way stop.
3W?
Yeah. I was thinking about that connection. That's not 15 miles away.
No, I was thinking about 19.
Oh. What about the 4-way stop? Yeah. Is that close?
There's a 4-way bias, but not the one that she's talking about. I think she's talking about the one that's 5 miles from here.
Right.
Are there train tracks?
Close
by?
No.
So
well, the train runs through the country about what 6 or 7 miles going from your back door side, kind of catty corner.
Okay. No, that wouldn't be it.
So you would have me lying if I told you I knew where the train was. I can't hear it from here. I know that.
Okay.
Um,
I guess it's about 10 or 15 miles in.
do you know if this is an area where there used to be a reservation? Or
it's Oklahoma, so that's extremely possible. I mean, this
First
is
Nation settlements.
Yeah. This is, I mean, and I know they bought this land from somebody else. It was not cleared out. So they had to clear it out themselves. And whenever they did, they found a rock that had been carved out here with initials in it. Not like, AB plus CD. It was, somebody's name and a date. And I don't know if somebody was buried there or if they were just saying, I was here at this time. But yeah, that was here.
Did they disturb it? But that would have been a long time ago.
Everything on this property, they completely, fixed it to where they could build their house here and everything.
Okay. And so are there a cemetery close by? Although myself in a cemetery, I'm so happy and at peace. But what about you?
The only thing we have that's close to a cemetery is we have Grandpa Phil and Grandma Jody's ashes. There's a little gated off section that we have on the property, and we have their ashes there because he wanted to be overlooking the pond and he wanted his ashes spread somewhere else as well. And they put her there and, Colorado and a few other places, and that's where Grandma and Grandpa want to be as well. So family plot.
Are they like you said, it's an enclosed area especially made for them?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Ange. Hi, Deanne.
Oh, and Deanne, she has, I think she said like 5 or 6 away from 500 to get her community page. So please, if you aren't subscribed to Deanne Maiden, you really need to do that because she's a great reader.
She is good.
And yes. She's going to be my guest. The 8th is the 8th on my Tuesday show. So she's really good. She has only 5 subs.
Yeah, Maiden, Deanne, can you go and have a look to see if you're still missing those subscribers? Maybe you have reached 500 and you don't know.
Yeah.
Hi, Tammy. Lauren.
So, Lauren, I'm reading what Lauren said. As far as it goes, I mean, I'm not sure if you've ever had anyone do Reiki on you or if you've ever practiced meditation or anything like that, but that's really helped me to kind of slow down what's going on, especially whenever, you've got those weeks where you're just breaking everything. But Reiki has helped a lot. My mom helped my son learn Reiki. He's actually the most centered, attuned person I've ever met in my life. It's kind of crazy for a 15-year-old. He's 15, yeah.
And he's 15. He's 15.
Uh-huh. Yeah. But he will help me because I've noticed that whenever I am having these issues, my chakras are completely out of whack. Like they are not where they should be. My throat chakra will be completely closed, third eye will be closed, and then heart chakra will be going for days. It really just, it's something that if you can have somebody do that, then that's great. And, if you don't have anybody around that can do Reiki, you can actually try to meditate and center them yourself each. If you can just do some reading about it, you can calm yourself down internally. Even though you feel really, really out of control, you can help it kind of calm down.
Yeah, and all you have to do, I mean, you can have the Reiki done and get everything aligned and move, but that's more about moving your energy around and all the to make you a complete circle. But you can realign your chakras yourself, because it's a system that is connected to you. All you have to do is you hold, like, the throat chakra. You start at the root and you work up, but you hold about an inch and a half away, and you say, I release my throat chakra, or I release my root chakra to return to its natural flow, natural rhythm, and natural size. And breathe in and then breathe out. You will actually feel warmth or tingling or movement of some sort in each chakra, in each area. And then after you have done that, you move to the sacral chakra and do the same thing. I release my sacral chakra to the normal, natural flow, natural rhythm, and natural size. And then proceed up until you've done them all.
You should do a video to doing it.
Oh,
seriously. Yeah, you should do a video doing it.
Because, I mean, everybody can do that. It's not, it doesn't require any kind of Reiki or hands, healing hands or whatever to do this,
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yay!
Diane is at 500. 500.
Great.
Congratulations, Diane. Oh, I'm so happy for you. All right.
Awesome. Yay.
I am so glad.
Yeah. The community page really helps. It really does. Now, on with your story, Danette. I just had to jump in there with the chakra talk.
Yeah. So
onward.
What do we want to read on something? Do we want to ask a question about this?
Sure. Let's see. What question would you like answered, Danette?
Well, that's difficult. I've resigned myself to living with this, so now I don't know that I want to know many answers.
Well, I got the Haunted Tarot. A Tarot of the Haunted House, sorry.
Nice.
Deanne said, I've only had 2 hours of sleep, otherwise I would jump up and down. I'm happy for you, Deanne. I'm very happy. And you reached it very quickly. I'm glad.
It takes about a week for them to decide to give it to you on YouTube. How about, okay. Is this, let's ask, is this, what is this? Is this being trying to teach you anything?
What being? There are several.
Trying to teach me to make cookies, I guess.
You don't stir the clockwise. It's counterclockwise.
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah, like wax on, wax off, or is it wax on, wax off? Not something like that. But what beings? There are several entities there. So what are those entities?
Okay. What about you? Okay, Sophie, you take the first entity that showed up when great grandma was alive. What'd you get?
Wheel of Fortune.
Destiny, change.
Ever-changing cycles of life.
And that may be, maybe whenever it was stirring the cookies, maybe it was trying to tell you to slow down. Slow down and make the cookies and be in the moment. And probably dropping the stool. Dropping the stool was, watch that, baby.
So that first entity that showed up before Grandma died, was that when you heard a knock on the door, or it's a completely different? That's when you heard a knock on the door.
The very first thing that I ever saw in the house was the face in our hallway, but I later on saw a picture of my husband's grandpa or great grandpa, and that was him. Like it was absolutely him. But I didn't really see any activity ever besides just glimpses of him in the hallway. That was all I ever saw.
So is that
but then the front door, whenever we had the crazy knocking at the front door, that's whenever things started that were really weird and not cool.
That we had to get rid of. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. Yep.
So is that the person you want me to take on?
No, I know what the thing we had to get rid of. I know what that was, but take on the person that's still there, that she saw the face of.
Yeah.
Like in the corridor, in the hallway.
And of course, Bryson reminded me he was out in his room, because I didn't put a protection around the whole property. I only put it around our house. And I forgot Bryson sleeps in our shed that we made into a bedroom. And one night he was sitting in bed.
I told you to walk the fence line.
I know you did. I don't know if you've walked 5 acres before, but it's winter. And I would really like to do that whenever it's, summer or at least spring.
Yeah, but
but yeah, lesson learned,
homie. It was summer.
You need to protect each individual. You need to teach the individuals to have protection.
And see, Bryson, I had his room. Well, no, I didn't. He just had his crystals in his room and his bracelet on. But so he was sitting in his bed and he thought he heard a car door shut outside, which my husband parks, relatively close to the shed, and he heard heavy footsteps, and my husband is extremely heavy-footed. So he heard heavy footsteps walking up to his door. So he's like, okay, Papa Bear's coming in. He heard it stop at the door and walk over to the side where the original door for that shed is. And he heard the footsteps walk into his room and to the foot of his bed, and they stopped there. And he took a minute to realize what had happened. And then he ran into the house and, cold sweating again. But that was just, I don't know. How long ago was that? A year ago? No, it was almost a year ago.
You have so many people living there. It's a village. It's a village.
Yeah. And Grandma and Grandpa live just up the hill from them. I mean, just
like right in our backyard.
Yeah, just up the hill. And so you have, but they're on the same 5 acres,
Okay, but is your
Grandma's
house
jealous.
a new construction?
No, it's yeah, I guess so. It is. They bought it new.
The grandparents bought it new, but it's what, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years old. It's not a new construction.
Well, I mean, it's 20 years old, but it was new whenever they got it, is what I meant.
Right.
And those people, where are they now? Those owners.
Grandma and Grandpa?
No, the people of the house from whom they bought it from.
Oh,
they bought it new. It's a double wide, so it's one of them that are made, and then they wheel them in basically.
Okay, but they bought the property from someone 20 years ago?
Oh, the property.
Yes. The property,
Okay.
yes, they bought it from somebody.
And that property, did it have a house on it or some kind of they had to flatten it to put the house there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's when trouble began. Before you, there was no house there? Or your grandparents, your husband's grandparents were living in it? Who
Whenever
was living
we
in that
moved
house
in here,
before? Yeah.
Yeah, when we moved in here, his grandparents were living in the house.
In the very house you live in now.
Yeah. We had 9 people in here before it was. It's a 5-bedroom house, but it was still kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah, I can imagine. Okay. Hi, Sheila.
Hi.
It's a
And
village.
Sheila, this is my daughter, Danette. Yeah, I mean, the T-Barb says, we have our own power that the entity must obey. And that's true. That's very true. But
sometimes they won't.
Yeah, it comes down to this. If your belief is in that power, that strengthens it. So every bit of belief, every bit of conviction you can put into your words, they bind. Words bind. And so, that is the truth. But how do you convince children and that it is so? How do you convince? It's a generational thing. So the throwing them out because you have the power to do so. If you have an adult household, that's fine, because as long as every adult in that household shares your belief. But if you do not have that conviction and everything, or if another person in the house does not have your conviction, that's where there's a gray area.
Mm-hmm.
Am I frozen?
No.
Okay.
Not for me, anyway.
Okay.
No, you're not. You just moved.
It is going to be my bedtime here in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I still haven't didn't speak yet. Hi, Melinda. This man from the 1930s.
Mm-hmm.
I asked him who he is, and he says, I'm dead. Did you get that?
Okay.
I was
all right.
I just almost.
That's on the right track.
Yeah, I just almost spewed. He's like, I'm dead. It doesn't matter. But
did he answer that to you as well?
No, I asked about is he or is she, because I was asking about the other entity that came after the grandma died, and she, for some reason, she feels a
That's my house. That's my home. Why should I go into the light?
Well, yeah, she feels like she owes something to someone. Maybe it's to Nathan. Maybe it's to Grandma and Grandpa.
I was about to say, she stopped by the wrong house. She should have stayed up there. And it's funny, what I was going to say earlier is Grandma is actually jealous that she feels like she's here. Because Grandma actually brought, I didn't tell y'all this, Grandma actually brought Grandma Jody home from the hospital so that she could stay her last few days. And she ended up passing away up at Grandma and Grandpa's house. That's, you know, a few feet by, or how many feet would you say that is, Mom? Like 20, 30, something odd feet from our house.
Oh.
Yeah.
But this is the house where they have family gatherings. This is the house where they all would, you know, come to vacation. Grandma and Grandpa would have Grandma Jody and Grandpa Phil here, and they would stay in the back bedroom in the hallway, you know, where I saw his face from. That would be the room that they would stay in whenever they would come over.
But I think
their final home was your house.
Yeah, I think that they would have. It's that family link, that family connection, that because this is my the middle card in a 5-card spread. The middle card is kind of, it's like the leader of the pack. It's the energy from that card comes out over the entire reading. And that is abundance and legacy. And she feels that in some way, I think it's because of all the kids. It's because of you have all the kids and you're under stress, and she feels like she's helping you in some way to watch them, to care for them. And she feels that as long as I want to say, as long as I don't know if it's Nathan or it's Grandma and Grandpa are there, she needs to help. She needs, because I got 2 4s. And, you know, I got the 4 of Swords and the 4 of Cups. She needs to help. She feels like, I don't know how bossy she was in life, but it's like, I know that you are stressed. I know that they are stressed. And, you know, I don't feel that my consciousness is being used enough. It's not. I want to help you. I want to assist you in any way I can. And yeah,
it's really funny. It's really funny that you said you don't know how bossy was. So she was like this tiny, tiny, tiny woman. Like, I mean, she didn't even weigh a buck. she was tiny. I'm actually pretty sure my 5-year-old weighs more than she did. So anytime I saw her, she was just precious. I mean, oh, I'm sorry. You know, she was always in the way, or she was always apologizing. She was always, you know, you would try to ask her if she wants something. And she's like, oh, no, I don't want to be a bother. I mean, she is very, very, you know, she's a problem. You can't, you know, bother yourself to try to accommodate her. Now on Facebook, that was a different matter. She was the biggest little spitfire I've ever seen whenever it came to telling people her beliefs.
So I guess that's why I couldn't tell if it felt like she was, and then it felt like she wasn't, then it felt like she was. So that I
I thought somebody had hacked her account because, I've only ever met her in person. And then I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh.
I didn't realize it. I had, there's always one card in a deck that is like just a card that doesn't belong there. In this deck, it's the title card here, the haunted house. And I didn't realize I had it still in my deck. The very, very first card I turned around was this one.
Oh,
so that's why I started laughing. The other thing is, okay. This is the middle card. She's not happy with changes that you've made in the house.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what changes you've made. Have you made changes in the house?
We renovated the kitchen.
There you go. She's not happy. I feel, or is it him? No, it's him I'm concentrating on. So he's not happy with that.
I feel like she likes the colors. She was a very colorful, wonderfully. I mean, she was an artist. She really likes the colors. But as far as what I know about Grandpa Phil, he likes things the way they were. He likes things structured.
So that's Grandpa Phil then. Got a name. Ha! Sucker. I'm just kidding. Okay? Just teasing. I'm not being mean. So yeah, he doesn't like the changes that were done in the house.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I get the 8 of Pentacles here. It just can't seem to. I feel that he can't seem to learn to. Hi, Vivian. Hi, Melinda. He can't seem to learn that. He says it doesn't matter. I'm dead. Yet he doesn't want to move on. He's incapable of moving on. I didn't really listen to what you were saying because I was busy trying to decipher the message. And I'm just wondering, is it possible she's sticking around because he's sticking around?
I think it's possible, yeah. I mean, she was married. Oh my gosh, she was married quite a few times. Let's see. I think she was either married 2 or 3 times. But
really?
he was the one that all of her kids, really thought of as dad, once he was around. So I could see that. I could see her not moving on because he was still here.
Yeah, and that would explain her feeling of I've got to do something.
Yeah,
I'm
trying to be helpful.
Trying to be helpful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is concentrate on him to remove him, and he's just not wanting to move on, I think. But we need to concentrate on him. He needs to learn that it's time for him to go to the light. And once he's gone, then I have a feeling you won't be bothered by the others.
By her? Yeah. I mean, the dog.
No, there are
how do I get rid of the daggum dog?
Yeah. I feel there are a lot of people. There is a village living on that land. Not in the house, on the land. Well, it doesn't mean that they're all there to create problems, though.
Right. And, I told you about my side of what the weird things that happen with me. My husband is just as weird. He has had some very, very strange things happen to him. He can actually feel electricity in his hands. So he can tell where live live electric places are and walls and whatnot. But the weird thing is he keeps having like very odd occurrences. Like there was a girl who was naked running out of the forest. And so he pulled over and he was like, "What are you doing?" And she was like, she was freaking out. She didn't know which way was up. And, he grabbed her and put her in his jacket and put her in the truck and took her to the hospital. And, they found out that she had been drugged and raped. It was a terrible situation. But, and he went back, later on to get his coat, and the police were there, and he's like, "Oh God, I just realized this might be a bad situation for me." But they were like, "No, thank you." She described who they were, you've done great work. But several things similar to odd, situations like that have happened to him. And it's seriously him just being put in these places for these things to happen. And there's always been something following him, and there were occurrences at our old house, like occurrences kept on happening as we were moving. And I was like, this doesn't happen unless something is following us. And I said, "Well, when were you baptized?" And he said, "I wasn't." And I was like, "Well, guess what we're doing?"
Yes.
So, he ended up getting baptized, and I'm not joking. After that instance, it stopped. All of the really crazy things stopped. Like, our doors would open, something rammed the wall right next to me. He was in the room beside us with my son, and me and the girls were in a different room, and something hit the wall. I thought he had like slammed my son's head into the wall or something. And they said, "Are y'all okay?" And I said, "Yeah." "Are y'all okay?" And they were like, "Well, yeah." And then we found out that none of us had touched the wall. No one had. But it was hard enough to fly the picture off of the wall from on my girl's side of the room. So whatever it was not happy about me being there. And after that situation, we had the talk about baptism, and he got baptized, and it just quit. The crazy stuff like that just quit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but I guess the thing is you need to stand in your sovereignty if you really want him gone. And that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
If you want to help them, if you feel that they have regrets, but I'm not getting any regrets, I'm just getting attachment to, they don't want, I guess they're
that might be something I need help with from Grandma and Grandpa for, because I didn't know Grandpa Phil, and I barely knew Grandma Jody enough to know what she would really, I feel like their attachment is to them, but they were just in the wrong house.
Right.
But if she wants to cook for me, she can go on ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I think that that there's a reason why. But I mean, if you want him gone, if you want them gone, I think you're going to have to do him first, because I think she'll just...
Absolutely.
You think she'll deal with him?
Yeah, because right now the fight is unfair. And what is the nurse's name? There's a nurse who was a serial killer. This is what this card represents. She wasn't playing fair. And I'm not saying he's a serial killer, okay? I just want you to know that. But the fight is unfair, and sometimes you might feel that he's not meaning any harm. He's not, I don't know how to put it. He's not meaning, he doesn't want to harm anyone. He just wants his house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And here, anybody's playing, I'm looking at this literally. Anybody playing with a Ouija board?
Yeah.
Anybody playing with spirits, trying to call spirits like your kids? Might want to check on that. Some of them might be doing that unbeknownst to you.
I've made it extremely clear for them not to, but I will not say that I don't have teenagers who would probably do some weird things behind my back.
Yeah, especially saying like I'm talking for experience because I did that. You know, my grandpa just passed away. Let's call grandpa. Or, you know, at another house saying, oh, there's 2 people committed suicide in my house. We can talk to them.
Oh, wow.
You know, things like that. Yeah. And here it's the wheel of fortune, the wheel of life, the cycles. And somebody I feel refusing this cycle. And that's grandpa.
Mm.
He needs to go into the light. He needs to understand that there is a change, even though he doesn't like that change. He needs to process it.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to learn to process it.
Yep.
You know, his action should not be to break heart. It should be to basically build his new life.
Yeah, I
So
wanted
get rid of him.
I wanted
Yeah.
you to do this because so often, you know, you with your kids, if you say something, they say yeah, and then forget about it. But if somebody else says the same things,
yeah, Jeanette, go do the whole 5 acres.
And the other thing is, they are very open to all of this because of their ancestry. You have the gift. Your mother has a gift, and you're open about it. And even if they're not doing it to you at your house, they might be doing it somewhere else. And the spirits understand elementals. There are elementals there too. And the spirits understand that these are very open and easy targets, so they'll follow them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
we actually had something attached to Piper for a while. Remember that, Mom? After the door incident, and I tried to get rid of it. It attached to my daughter. It's my oldest daughter, but my second oldest kid. And she's got emotional problems anyway. She would be where anything would go that, you know, knew it could get some claws in. And she would have dark circles under her eyes. She almost went insane. Like, there are just so many different stories I could go, but I'm going to end up falling asleep before I go down that road.
Well, I mean, we took care of it though, finally.
Yeah. It finally
there's something also attached to you, I think. It's somewhere in your backpack. Something is attached to you as well. And it might be Grandpa. He doesn't like the new kitchen.
Yeah. Shouldn't have done it,
I admit. No, you should have done it, and you should. You know, we need to tell them this is our realm of the world. Yours is,
she is
at the next step, and you now own the house. Your house is in the light. You know, this is no longer your house, and they need to understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, she is my daughter, Aley. Isn't she beautiful?
She is beautiful.
Only 'cause I look like you.
Yes. Yes. So, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
what other questions might we answer? Or you were going to go to bed? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm on a roll.
How about Danette can take herself off to bed, and then we can ask if anybody has any questions, and if they don't, we can sign off.
Okay, no problem.
Love you, baby.
It was great meeting you, Sophie. Love you, Mom.
Nice meeting you, Jeanette. Hold on one second. Hi. Nice meeting you too. Bye-bye.
All right. Good night, y'all.
Good night. I dropped some cards. Hi, Aley.
But yeah, you tell them and you tell them and you tell them some more. But if somebody else tells them, they're like, "Did you know?" And you're like, "Huh? Imagine that."
Yeah. It's I feel like, do you know in Ghostbusters that ghost that is eating everything, like like the gobble bug, what did they call him?
Slimer.
Eater?
Slimer. I think he was named Slimer. Because it was
Slimer,
this
yeah.
big slimy thing, and he would eat everything.
And then he would slime them. Yeah. I feel she has a Slimer with her. Is that possible?
That is possible, because I have cleaned and cleared and cleansed and all this kind of stuff repeatedly, all kinds of stuff off of her. Yeah. So, but when she had, when she was in her abusive relationship, it was like an unbelievable, it was awful. It was awful. And then I got it gone and everything, and we had she had periods of completely clean, but she's, everything's cleared at home, but it doesn't matter if it's cleared at home if it's waiting for you at the gate. And when you drive off, it attaches to you and saps your energy. But we have done a bunch of different things, because she attracts things. And I have talked to her about shields, and I have talked to her about all this kind of stuff. But so I kind of thought that if somebody else tells her what I tell her, maybe she would believe it more.
Did I tell her everything you wanted me to tell her? Because you didn't tell me to tell her anything.
I wanted you to tell her whatever you felt like you should tell her. But,
okay.
But
so you used me.
I did, but I knew what you were going to tell her. You see? I mean, I know you, Sophie. I know you. Hey, Nibs.
I know you know me.
Yeah.
I was used, everyone.
Yeah, but yeah, I've wrapped her in protections many times. I've wrapped my grandchildren in protections many times, and she's come so far because she no longer has fear. Fear is not her first response.
Which is really an energy grabber. Fear is an energy grabber for entities. They're going to, it's like, and like Slimer is going to grab onto it, and it's going to chew on that until it chews your soul.
Yeah. So fear, is it, and I feel like that's an accomplishment. But if you don't believe in your own sovereignty and declare it and everything, you can't do anything with ghost, or if you don't believe in your own sovereignty, then you borrow like Archangel Michael's, you know, and say, you're gone. But I don't know. It's because they are related to them and they feel a connection, especially with the grandma, the great grandma. They feel a connection and they almost feel like they shouldn't get rid of them or whatever. But I'm going to have to.
Grandpa needs to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think he needs to go. I think his goal is not to hurt anyone, but he is.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have any question for us on anything?
Yeah, I wonder if Archangel Michael ever gets tired of us. Yeah, he must like, okay, clone myself into 50,000 angels. There you go.
I don't know how he does it, but he's being called on quite a bit. Can you guys hear all the ice pellets hitting my window?
I know.
I have it's crazy.
Well,
I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. I don't know if I'll make it.
Mm-hmm.
We love you. I love you too, Mims. I do. And I know Kathleen does too.
Watcher 9997, do you have a message for me? Let me get my oracle cards out here. Wow. Wow. Okay. I went on and I picked 4, and I don't ever do that, but it was like it was telling me it wasn't the story. What the story it wanted me to tell, it wasn't over. This I love this card, but I shuffled well, and I've gotten this card several times at random in the last week. And so I think it's really important to share because it is a recurring theme in my personal pulls, in my pulls for other people. This has been coming through. It's called Shapeshifter. Transform and unveil your gifts. And there's a wolf, an eagle. It looks like a puma. I mean, you know, it's there's a snake in the wolf's fur. And what it's trying to say is everyone has gifts. Everyone has something that they can do. And they need to realize the transformation comes from the realization that we are souls in a human body. We do not try to attain a soul if we're good enough. We are souls encapsulated within our human body. And as long as this sage comes up, and as long as you are devoted and committed, to your purpose. And trust your talents. Talk spirit, trust your talents in changing times. As long as the changing times do not bowl you over. Trust back in your talents. Trust back in your intuition that everyone on earth has. Then, with the wolf of the winter, you can take care of your needs. So I thought that was an awesome message, Watcher. What you got, Sophie?
With terminology, I got 4 cards as well. I got one from the terminology oracle, and it's the new moon in Virgo. It's a time to give rather than take. And sometimes as you're giving, the giving comes back to you tenfold. So it's a time to give to other, whether it's to give a listening ear, or to give time, or to give just sending love and light to people. Giving doesn't necessarily mean giving money, giving things. It is giving a little bit of ourselves. The other thing that I got was that your heart chakra was blocked a little bit, and you need to work on unblocking the heart chakra. And you can do that through meditation, and you can do that using stones like the rose quartz and rhodochrosite, or the pink tourmaline is also another good way of doing this. Writing is a tool for you to that is suggested to you to open up your heart chakra. Do it independently from others. Basically, what you can do is meditate, meditate using your chakra, meditate using colors to open all of your chakra, and then write whatever comes to you. And you might be going through a difficult time right now, okay? But giving, writing, and doing that independently of all the rest is going to help you with your energy, and it's going to help you face whatever comes your way. You might be pressed by time, you might be pressed by anything that's coming up at work. Try to leave work at work. Don't bring it home with you. And I think that is going to be very helpful to you if you do that. And writing is something that something that you do, Watcher? Do you write? Because you've done that in past lives. Journaling, Mims is right. Journaling is very helpful.
Yeah.
Always helpful. You work from home? Good. So that is in the, you work from home. I don't know how you can make that work. If journaling doesn't work for you, then do something else. Just write on a piece of paper that might be on the back of an envelope if you have to, as your or record your voice. storytelling will help. Now, you're an engineer watcher and you work from home. I don't know if there is a way for you to isolate that work area or not, so that you don't see that work area when you're done working. That can be something, okay, and that can be something that could work for you. Isolating, like, you see those panels here, and that's because I want to isolate this part of my office from everything else. I don't want this to, um, yeah, exactly, Mim. Separation of church and state. I don't want my spiritual work to be um, part of anything else in my house, in the sense that I want to keep this sacred. So the same thing could, or if you can do that, that would be fantastic. So that would be my suggestion to you. Working from home is great, but at the same time, it has some downfalls. One of them being, being able to separate things. So yeah, and writing, telling your story is something that would be helpful to you, I think. So I hope this helps. Does it fit what you were saying? Because I'm sorry, I was busy reading my cards while you were talking to Watcher.
Yeah, it's they needed to connect with their gifts and to connect with their intuition, and it would help them to, let's see, I can't remember everything that I actually said. I'm tired.
No problem. Me too. So you said your boss gave you the go ahead to work and travel at the same time. Now we just have to get rid of COVID. Yeah, I totally get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, folks, I think we're going to call it a night.
yeah, we're tired.
Mm-hmm. So
Thank you
we
very
didn't
much.
really read tonight, but I think that we did a little therapy as far as what what needs to go on with Grandpa, with Jeanette.
Yeah. Yeah. And on Friday we have the Wheel of Fortune telling, and it's going to be at 8:30 Eastern, and we're going to do readings
Well,
on something
yeah.
interesting.
And on Saturday, I'm with Ron.
Cool.
Unconditional Love Tarot. And then next Tuesday, drum roll, on the 1st, we're going to have, it is next Tuesday, isn't it? Is the 1st next Tuesday? Well,
Yeah.
anyway, I'm going to have Jen's World Tarot. Yay!
Yay!
And
So I hope to see you all there.
yeah. So I love you all. Mwah!
Bye-bye.
My fingers are so cold. Okay. Bye.